Welcome everyone to the tournament to end all tournaments. Two friends enter an arena, controllers in hand. Only one friend will walk out. What will he walk out with? Not just his life, but bragging rights. Welcome to This Podcast is for Nerds, and today we discuss fighting games. Hot takes are us. Let's start. How about this? What was your very first fighting game? Because you and I both played games, but we also have like different types. Like I love RPGs, first-person shooters, arcade style. What was your first fighting game? Yes. Dude. Mortal Kombat wasn't my first. Virtua Fighter was, actually. Virtua Fighter is like a precursor to like everything we know with like Street Fighter and Tekken. It kind of follows the same premise where you have this guy. You know what? I was such a young kid. I don't even remember like what it was about. I just knew I picked a character and it looked cool. I mean, this is all polygon shaped stuff back then too, right? So it was just like not anything anyone would recognize at all as far as a fighting game. But I remember playing it on my cousin's Sega Genesis, I believe, was what that was on. You know what? Yep. And it's funny because I just realized I don't know much about anything about this game, but I just remember it was just like one of those things that like my cousin had, because like I didn't grow up with systems. I had the first Nintendo, I believe, is my home system, so I played a lot of Mario games. But as far as like fighting games, you couldn't I didn't have. This is the cartridge life. You're blowing on everything to try and get it to play for more than like 30 minutes. And it never happened. This is before save cards, kids. So there was no saving your progress. You just like, too bad. It's arcade life. My first fighting game, so that was my first home fighting game. Before that, I played everything like when I would go to a Chuck E. Cheese or some sort of like, I don't know, what does they call it? Like, I hear you guys call them putt-putts, but what are they really called? Miniature golf. So, like, that's where a lot of my first game experiences came from. And then, I didn't have friends who were really into games. They were more into the actual event that they went to. So if they went to a miniature golf, everyone wanted to play miniature golf. And I'd sneak off and go to the arcade because I don't care about miniature golf. They probably did have dedicated arcades, but they weren't any that I was taken to. Yeah, all the ones I was exposed to were basically like attached to like miniature golf or bumper boats or go-kart. I did do go-kart. That was the only thing I preferred to do than like arcade stuff was go-karts. I'm honestly surprised it wasn't like Metal Slug being a gun store. That'd be, yeah. Yes. Yeah, it's my cousin's console. I was definitely doing a lot of button mashing. I don't think I really got into learning how to do combinations until I started playing the game that is one of my topics today, which is Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And I played that game both in its arcade form and in the remake form that was on Xbox 360 as well. And dude, it's the crossover and just everything was just, it was amazing. And I loved, like, it was such a crazy concept to me because, you know, growing up, if you're into like any kind of animation, you're either going to be into like Batman and X-Men, or you're going to be into like Pokemon and whatever kind of anime that was like in Inuyasha or Yu Yu Hakusho. Exactly. And this was like the first time both halves of my brain were happy because I got to match with both of my characters, and it was dope. Like, you could have a team with Ryu, Spider-Man, and Wolverine, which you would never want to do because Spider-Man was like the worst character in the game. Sorry. Yeah, and he wasn't a bad character as far as like playing on your own with him. I just didn't like using him when you had built up enough of the super gauge to shoot all three mega attacks at once. And like, that's what I specialize in. So I was kind of a dick. I would go with like Thanos, Iron Man, and like Cyclops, because I'm just here to build that gauge up. And then once I get you, I got you. Yeah, and it's like, that's when I really started to learn more of the combinations, just because like it's easier definitely on an arcade than on a controller, especially when you have to do like the Z on the stick. Like, how do you put a Z into like your anything when you're when you're on it? Oh, that's right. The GameCube, yeah. Let's have a moment of silence for the GameCube controller. # best controller for any game. Like, I don't see how, I don't see how anyone can play Smash or Brawl or the current versions of Smash Brothers with anything besides a classic GameCube controller. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I don't think I've seen that one, actually. Let's take a little look-see of that. It is an Xbox controller. Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Yeah, and I think before then, like, fighting games to me were, I think I didn't do a lot. I think I was really more into RPG games until I got into high school. So I did a lot of like Pokemon, a lot of like Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, and I don't know. Power Stone wasn't really a fighting. It was a fighting game. It was like Sega stuff, and I forgot about that game actually. But yeah, the Dreamcast, dude. It's just the name. Come on now, Dreamcast. Yeah, right? And they were the ones who started the whole thing with, I don't know if they started it, but they were the ones who had, like, you could change your settings and everything with a screen on your controller. And then, yep, you use that to mess with the people on the screen, which is awesome. So yeah, I would say Virtua Fighter is my first fighting game. The second one, I think, besides Marvel vs. Capcom that I played at home, was Tekken, and this was Tekken 2. And I remember because my uncle had it, and he got mad at me because, again, button mashing, and I would play as King and only do his grapple move where he like grabs you and breaks your neck and throws you over his knee or something like that. And that game has gone through a lot of evolution over the last 10, 15... You know what, just from the beginning. Like, I actually went back and watched a compilation of all the intros from Tekken 1 through 7. And it's incredible to watch computer graphics and storytelling grow over time. And it's funny, because when you and I talked about this topic, and I said I was going to talk about Tekken, I actually realized that, much like a lot of people who play Call of Duty, Halo, Destiny, everything else, I never played for the story mode. And I really didn't know anything about the game. Like I remember, like the last game I played was Tekken 6, and it was at my buddy Gio's house, and we'd all like gather around, get food, go grill, and just like have like Tekken tournaments at his house, and it was amazing. And that was my exposure, just playing the game against friends. And I never went through story mode. I never even knew what the hell the point was. Everyone knows Heihachi is like the non-perverted Master Roshi of that universe. Yes. Yes. Yoshimitsu? Oh, okay. That's right. My other Another crossover character that you didn't know that you knew, since you mentioned Soul Calibur, is Mitsurugi. Not a Mitsurugi. Yoshimitsu. Yes, Yoshimitsu. So there's a lot of different people who have worn technically the Yoshimitsu name, but that character always has the same background. He is a member of an elite ninja assassin clan, and he's used quite often throughout Tekken, Soul Calibur, and something else. I think he actually originated in Tekken, and he's been in every other Soul Calibur game since then. And he's always a character that I like kind of freaks me out, honestly, because his skill set and his way he moves and his stances are insane and hard to control. At least they were until I kind of like started trying. Oh yeah, this is the yeah, this is definitely the wildest version of him I've seen so far. It's funny because it kind of depends. Like, I like to have knowledge of maybe 2 to 3 characters so I can try to counter people. Like, it's funny, in Tekken 7, I played as Bob, and Bob is this really big, just big dude, blonde hair, and like, he's just basically a ball. Like, his name should be Blob. And he is like this dude who does like breakdancing, kind of capoeira style fighting. And so he's spinning on the ground a lot. It makes it really hard for it to hit him. And that was my most successful character in Tekken 7 against my friends, because like you just keep him, if you get his flow down, you just keep him moving. And it's yeah, yeah. And it's just like he's the equivalent to, I think, of Rufus from the Street Fighter series. And Rufus is a hilarious character. I just don't understand. They put him in like Uma Thurman's tracksuit with like a top knot braid coming off the back of his head, and his intro is like, "You've tried the rest, now try the best." But like when he moves, his stomach moves 4 seconds after he does, so it's like this ocean wave effect of fat. Oh yeah. Okay, so I haven't, only because I didn't realize it was a fighting game. Like I've seen it, but it was never in a. I saw it and went, oh okay, it's like hentai, so I'm not gonna watch. I'm not gonna play this. I never knew it was an actual fighting game. I really appreciate that. That's not what I thought you were gonna tone it down and be like, oh no, like they had a great story. You're like, yeah, no, it was amazing for for all the reasons it's supposed to be. Between your hand or like the. Oh. Well, I thought that's all it was, honestly. I didn't know that there was anything else to it. Oh, yeah. That. Yeah. Speaking of crossovers, oh man, you just said the magic word right there. Did you like one or two more? Ooh. Okay. You know what? I actually forgot about one. I don't remember it because like once I played two, I was just like, this is insane. I mean, the basic premise of one is the same as it always is. Oh, you know what? No, I take that back. I do know. So, for those of you who know about how spliced up both the Marvel and the DC, I guess, comic book universes is the best way to put that. How fractured those timelines are just from their inception on now. There's multiple different kinds of Earth, parallel universes, and everything like that. In this particular universe, or every universe where Superman becomes a dick, he's always a dictator because he's the strongest, and either he kills people who get in his way, or people are just like, oh yeah, Superman's the shit, let's just go ahead and like follow under him because we can't stop him. And you know, it's always turns into Batman versus Superman, basically. Like, it's really, that's all it is. So the Injustice game, I think it's just Injustice, right? It's not a, there's no tagline on it. Right. Okay. So, do we want to like tear the game apart, or we just want to like give a brief overview of it? 'Cause in a very brutal way, he drugs him and makes him think that he's fighting Doomsday. Which, well, I don't know how he didn't figure that out for like one punch, because she would just he destroyed. Yeah. And the weird thing about it is there's the two universe aspect is that in both universes the Joker's trying to set off a nuke. In one of them is like our current, I guess, universe that our heroes get pulled from, and the reason why Batman has to pull them over is because the Superman that went crazy in his universe killed all the people he needs to open up a kryptonite vault to stop him. So we get caught between two different universes of this particular DC storyline. And in the second one, basically, after you defeat Superman, you get him in jail. It kind of shows Supergirl showing up to Earth, and Wonder Woman. It's hard to trash talk Wonder Woman. Half time I like her, half time I don't. Whenever she's like herself, she's the shit. Whenever she turns into a Superman groupie, she always pisses me off. So, in this game... Wait, you've never played this game. Should I spoil it for you too? What are we doing? Who have we become? Okay, sweet. So, in the second one, Supergirl shows up to Earth, and she's looking for her cousin. The defeated factions of Superman who don't want to, like, listen to Batman even though that they lost, trick her into thinking that Batman is the bad guy and that he caged up, you know, Superman. So she starts fighting against Batman, and he's like, yo, your cousin's an evil jackass. She's like, no, he's not. How could you say that? Blah, blah, who cares? and they find out that Brainiac is attacking Earth now. The only person who stopped Brainiac is Superman, who's currently in prison. And since people think that Superman's still a good guy, or Supergirl thinks Superman's still a good guy, she helps break him out. And after they kind of join forces to stop Brainiac, she starts to realize that he's kind of a dick, and is like, well, these people are just animals, and we need to lord over them in order to make sure that they stay subjugated. And that's when she realizes, oh my god, I should have helped Batman, I didn't do that. Haha, what's wrong with me? And it just turns into just another fight like that. And I think just from a movie standpoint, the video games do a better job than the DC movies themselves ever did. Like... I I knew it was going to be, and that also made me laugh too. Like, there are some certain things about the animated universe they did way better than the movies. Like, Batman didn't go to start a Justice League, it was Superman. And basically the premise behind that from the animated series was that he's like, look, I need help. There's always planes falling. There's always bank robberies. I can't do this on my own. I need a team. We can watch out for each other. Please help me. I'm the man of steel, but I'm not the man of sleep. And if you exclude Smallville, I will agree with that. I grew up disappointed with it. It was just a lot of teen angst. I don't want teen angst. Like, it's one thing to grow up. All right? It's one thing to be like, you know what? I'm growing up, I'm learning, blah, blah, blah. But teen angst and drama, don't turn my superhero movies into the Vampire Diaries. Don't fuck with me. Well, that's why I laughed too with the first X-Men series that came out. They turned all of the like adults in this movie into angsty ass teenagers, and I'm just like, it basically, yeah, we might as well just throw those in there too. Like, it's basically all the same thing. It was basically, I'm going back to like X-Men and then X2, where like the very first couple Wolverine outlets, everyone's a kid except for like certain characters, and it's like, that's, come on, man. Like, we did get night when he disappeared again. Oh, was he? Okay. Well, and I think too, like, there's just so much about that, and I guess that was when I first kind of turned off to superhero movies. I was younger, I was way more into the comics, and I did have the dream of like, oh man, I get to see the things I grew up with on live action. Like, the first Transformers was awesome. Kinda. As I got older, I was like, wait, this is not as what is happening right now. But didn't watch it. After the second one, I was like, here's the thing I don't get about protagonists in movies like this. You know, the main guy in the first one, he gets to go on this crazy ass adventure, and then he wants to go to college and tell the supercar that saved his life and knows there's other bad guys out there to stay at home because he doesn't want to deal with him, like he's some sort of fucking puppy. Okay, let's exclude the fact that it's a sentient vehicle. It's a car. Well, it's aliens that like take over the I don't fucking remember how to word this. Robots in disguise. They're robot aliens who inhabit vehicles of our planet to make it easier for them to move around, but you can still drive it as a car. So like for me, I was like, dude, you still have a Camaro. Take it to college. What the fuck's wrong with you? And then there's different things too about that where like continuity wise just pisses me off. Like, wait, where are we? This is like video games. This is supposed to be fighting games. This is what this podcast is. Yeah. Okay, so I'll start. I'll finish with this. At the end of the movie, they fix his speaker box so Bumblebee can actually speak. And then in the second movie, just for like shits and giggles or whatever the fuck, they go back to him only being able to speak to the radio. And I'm like, wait a minute. They fixed him. Like, don't. What the fuck? Hell no. Really? Okay. Yeah, no, I just Transformers turned into a huge cash grab, and I'm not mad. Here's the thing. I'm not geeking out as a fan and getting pissed at people wanting to make money or further their careers. Do what you gotta do. As a fan, however, I'm not gonna pay for it. I know what this is. Yeah, I'm never gonna send death threats or get pissed at anybody who wants to go out and do their thing. If someone handed me a Transformers movie right now and said, "Hey, we'll pay you $500,000 to be in this movie," I'm like, "Yes." What kind of question is that? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, totally. I can pay for my school and be done right now, even after taxes. So yeah, let's pivot back. So what's the actual storyline then? Like, what's the point of it, and how does it come together? What are the characters like outside of the bikini aspect, and how did that even happen? Did you just leave it on the loading screen for a long time and just kind of like put on candles and sit in the corner? We do. I'm not knocking it. Similar Japanese thing, just not on a video game. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I think it's a great thing too. The environmental side of it also helps break up the monotony of being in one particular stage or arena, especially when you have storyline games that make you fight through different levels. Like I know with Soul Calibur, sometimes the environment will change depending on what area of the country you're fighting, but also depending on like what round you're on. Sometimes it'll change the environment slightly, and I think that's really cool to like they care about the foreground and the background in terms of like keeping the game interesting, honestly. The Dragon Ball Z games, at least the later ones after. Let's see. That was the first fighting game I actually bought on console on PS2. I bought the PS2 with Dragon Ball Z DBZ Budokai. That was my very first fighting game. It's been a long time. Like, I haven't picked one up since maybe Tenkaichi Budokai 3, and that's been a while. Yeah, you know what it was? I just haven't had an interest in going back to it. I think I grew up with it. I know the storyline like the back of my hand as far as like plot development and what's canon and what's not. I've known the voice actors' voices since I first started. You know, for me, it's weird because I've got to the point where I can distinguish which voice actor is doing what, even if they do multiple characters. And their voices have just changed over time because they've gotten older too. So yeah, exactly. So for me, it's like, a lot of this comes down to I'm not going to enjoy it the same because I can see behind the magic, so to speak. And it's not any fault of anything. You get older, you realize that, like, when you watch a movie and you know how burnouts really sound when a car takes off and how they look when they're staged, or how bullets don't spark when they ricochet. Like, that's just, you see behind the curtain and it's not as appealing anymore. And that's kind of how it became with Dragon Ball Z games, because there's only so many different ways you can tell a story to where it's just like, you're okay, we get it. I play the Horizon series on Xbox. I don't play the Forza games on Xbox. Yes, that I do play. I do enjoy it, and I like that game more than the Forza series itself because I'm not stuck on tracks. And this one actually has a lot of live interaction where you can kind of do what you want. Like, I didn't play the traditional storyline, but I moved up and got like points, because there's certain aspects in games like that are kind of broken. Like, I would say in that game, I'm just not a fan of laps. And no matter how good I make my car, without an actual like steering controller, I'm not going to get good at cornering with. I was set it to the level of other cars I'm with, and they always smoke me. And I'm like, okay, well, there's no way to counter this and make it better. There's no amount of tuning. And then I'm getting into it where, like, well, I actually do things with cars, so I don't want to waste time on virtual cars. My escapism only allows me to play video games and do things I can't do in real life. And so I should probably be focusing on tuning real cars and not Forza. And if I bought a simulator, that'd be different, because at least I'm not wasting gas at that point, and I can do things that are not illegal on the roads, like do a burnout in the middle of a freeway. That's completely different. Oh man, VR freaks me out a little bit, honestly. Like, I played Beat Saber and it was pretty fun, but having my senses lost around me in real life, I don't care for that too much. Ooh, oh, dude. Okay, so that's my one exception, I guess. If I got into a thing, or if we ever got to video game simulations where we can sit down and like subconsciously go into a game, okay. But there's also a bunch of things where that goes wrong. People get stuck. So I'm not sure. I'm just on the fence about if I try it or not. It would have to be what my life situation's about. If I had an armed security detail who could like watch over my body and a team of hackers on my side in case some dick tries to like pull a... What's that one anime everyone loves that's really kind of stupid? There you go. Look at you. You knew without me even like saying anything. It's... Sword Art Offline. But I would try it out. I think VR is cool, but I just personally don't feel comfortable using it. Do you have an Oculus or another system? Hmm. And mind you, I'll tell you this: Calvin is extremely competent in many areas. I walked into his house the first time when we were not social distancing to set up for the podcast, and I genuinely didn't understand what I was looking at. It was one of the things where, like, I am sorry, that shouldn't be happening. I am so. It was one of the things where, like, I was looking at his computer and it was like glowing and saying hi to me, and it gave me a tug off and everything, and I was like, "Wow, this is really awesome." You got to pay to play. So yeah, I definitely understand. I don't understand about upgrading things like that, but I do understand as far as like, just wanting to keep it. I'm surprised you were able to keep running 7 years behind though. Like, I don't know how upgrading computers works. I just feel like everything comes out rapidly. Nice. Um, hmm. We went over Tekken, Marvel vs. Capcom. What's a fighting game that you have played that you feel like has not gotten the mainstream success or attention because it kind of got drowned out by other games that we mentioned today? And also, would you consider 3D fighting games also fighting games, or would they not be considered that because they're not on like the 2D kind of arcade style? Right. Okay. Oh yeah, that's true. It's kind of funny because I this genre goes both ways in that I think honestly Power Stone was one of the games I loved as a fighting game on back on the Dreamcast, and like it's not a game that many people have actually played. And obviously since like Sega has done what it's done and kind of taken a back seat as far as like, actually having, let me see the last Power Stone. I think Power Stone 2. Yeah, I think Power Stone 2 was on the Dreamcast. And it was just a lot of fun, honestly. Um, yeah. And the best way to describe Power Stone, it's almost like if you get power ups based on your character, and you really fight on a 3D platform similar to how the Smash Bros. Games have developed now. And I think this game may have been designed to go after. No, because these were original characters. These weren't like Sega characters battling it out. I think the PS2 had a fighting game that they tried to use to counter Smash Brothers, and it didn't work out so well. I think so. All I remember is that Kratos was fighting Rayman, and I was like, wow, if that was really happening, that would be a gruesome fight. Like, Kratos would just stab him in the head and just like pull his skull out. That's right. Actually, I always wanted to because I love the style of that game. I just, again, couldn't afford it, didn't do it. That's right. Dante was there too. Jack and Daxter. Oh man, that's you're bringing it back. We should have a whole console based one of our favorite games for each console. Honestly. I said it and I was like, oh cool, this is like, oh 1 or 2 5 50 20 36. Yeah, we're doing this. Oh, this is gonna get everyone. I hope you realize this is basically how the podcast started, and the excitement that we both had. It was a realization type of moment, and we were just both like, yeah, let's do a podcast. Like this is how it happened. So you're watching the birth of our idea process, our board meetings to decide what we do. This is what this episode was. We do, and especially considering we on a personal level need to have a rematch. We need to have a rematch, and we need to record it and put it on the YouTube channel. Which Smash game? Let me double check. 'Cause I know I think I misquoted myself last time between the different names. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think I spent the most time playing Melee. That was where I spent a lot of my time, is playing Melee. Yep, that's where I spent a lot of my time, was playing Melee. And I'm gonna go with, I did enjoy Brawl a lot. I loved playing with Ike. I miss my boy Roy, but Ike's there. It's all good. I don't think so. I think he got pulled. He may have been added later, but I could have sworn during the opening lineup he was pulled. Because that's when Ike came in, and yeah, he came back in Ultimate, but he wasn't. I don't think he was in Brawl. But yeah. Which is hilarious how oh my gosh, all the characters that are like, I remember when my brother first was following it, because by this time I hadn't played it much, and he was just telling me like, oh, this person's getting added, and then I realized every other week he was telling me that. I was like, what's happening? What is going on? I'm so behind. Yeah. I'm so behind. I'm so behind on all of it. I really enjoyed the final smashes, and how that's just been a thing that's been I've been so stoked for that. I've loved seeing different characters come out, and how they have different Easter eggs in Final Smashes. Mega Man's Final Smash is one of my favorite during his intro video, when all the different generations and styles of Mega Man jumped in to use their Mega Busters against whoever they were fighting. That's so fucking sick, dude. Isn't Luigi's like that too? He slows everyone down, which I guess is good if everyone has a high damage rate already. But without that, you're kind of missing and wasting a little. It gives you 15 seconds of slowdown, I think. Oh yeah. She's actually pivotal for creating the black hole in Super Smash Bros. Melee. Oh, okay. If they haven't patched it, I'm down. I mean, it really is just glitching the GameCube and pissing it off, so there's no really way to patch it. I'm down. It's hilarious to do, and it will kill you. I think we're getting good. I think we're good. We had a brain baby, Heihachi Mishima hooked up with one of the Dead or Alive not volleyball players, and we had a brain baby with them to cover our favorite games from different types of consoles. Like, holy crap, that's gonna I do have a question for you, since we talked about the PC Master Race and how you're building a card and everything. What's a game that you are excited to play on your PC that you can't right now because you have to do upgrades? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. There's so many games like The Witcher 3 also that I wanted to play and get into, like Witcher 3 Outer Worlds, I'm sorry. That I just realized that, like, when I started to play them, I just don't have the time I used to when I was like 2021 to sit down and just throw 20 or just throw 14 hours into a day into a game and get lost in side missions. Like, I started with Outer Worlds and I was like, God, I've just started. I've only been here for an hour. I haven't done anything, and I have like 16 side quests. What the hell is happening right now? That's why I love Borderlands so much. In 2 hours, you can do a hell of a lot. Oh, damn. Yeah, go ahead and start. I actually do have a business on a shout out. Ooh, this is gonna be interesting, actually. No, it's gonna be interesting because of what I'm gonna shout out also. Okay, my restaurant recommendation actually comes from today, who I believe they're doing delivery and definitely doing curbside pickup. Also in Ann Arbor, also a Mexican restaurant, Chella's. We went there today the first time, and if you can do an outpay, a lot of places do quesadillas, but they don't do them right. If you just fold over a goddamn tortilla and put it under a salamander, or you just fold it over and melt the cheese, but the outside shell is not crispy, you sir can go the hell home. Chella's does their food properly. And I will say that their Al Pastor quesadilla, which is a favorite of mine from growing up in California, they do so well. So the wife and I enjoyed that today. It was fantastic. And homemade salsa, guys. If you're not blending your old salsa, then don't, just go home. Actually, don't go home because you can't blend your homemade salsa if you're not at home, and apparently if you're not doing it already, you shouldn't be. So go to Kroger and get yourself some paste and be happy with that. But if you're not, go to Chella's. Get your homemade salsa. Get your Al Pastor quesadillas. Get your tacos, your tamales, all the good things. We love every restaurant we shout out here on this podcast is for nerds. I have to say though, Calvin, what is your hands down favorite go-to Mexican food that you love? Damn you. It was a very fun ride. No, see, it feels weird now because like you feel like you gummed up the works, and I'm like, I can't. No, it's fine. I just can't finish now.